Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. Redmissed in the house once again. How you doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I'm doing great, and we, my friends, are playing some more WWE Supercard. Now, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about what's been going on and what I've been doing. So, first off, we can see that starting later on tonight for the team event, we're going to have the ring domination for Ken Shamrock. So we're going to be looking at getting him super quick. If you happen to know who the ultimate card is, then put that down in the comments down below, because I would like to know, because if it's a pro for me, then I'm definitely going to be going for him. Now, unfortunately, Ken Shamrock is not a pro for me, but you can see here that we have fully trained up one of our Seth Rollins. All of his training's done, all of his games are done. Now, the second Seth Rollins, we're currently sort of halfway to 3/4 leveling up, but we're kind of the same with his games. We're about halfway on his games, and that's pretty much what's happened with all of them. So the Dean Ambrose, we've almost completely maxed out both of our Dean Ambrose now, which is really good. We just need to start working on getting them finished with training. Now, this probably is going to take a fair bit of time though, so I'm not going to be looking at getting any of these guys pro'd kind of anytime soon. It'll probably be the weekend, if not after, before I can finally get these guys all pro'd and done. But you can see here that a lot of these guys have got a ton of games looking into them already. Now, considering that we've only been, it's not even been 24 hours since I got all of these guys, you can see here that I have seriously improved all of their games, mostly focusing on the Dean Ambrose and the the Dean Ambrose and the Cesaro, and then after that I've been focusing on the second Kevin Owens over here, as well as the second Roman Reigns again, Seth Rollins. I don't know why I get them mixed up all the time. I'm sorry, guys, but hey, that's just the way it is. So, that being said, Team Battlegrounds, we are absolutely probably gonna win this Team Battleground. And one of the easiest ways to tell this, guys, if you don't know, then if you go into your chat system and obviously you say good luck like one of our teammates have done, you can go ahead and click on the enemy's profile. Whoops, I did not mean to whisper the chat. You can go ahead and you can click on their profile, and you can kind of get an understanding of what their team is like. So you can see here that this particular guy is only a super rare player, but if you look at the very top, you can see that he's only got 25 games won and 45 games lost. So you can see that he doesn't play the game very much, which means a lot. So then you can go ahead and look at the rest of the team. You can view team, and you can take a look at the rest of the team. So just clicking a random person, you can see here again, 269 games to 69 losses. Again, excuse me, probably doesn't play very often, which means that they're not going to win this thing because people just aren't playing. And as you can see here, this guy, 8 wins to 3 losses. He's definitely not going to have his cards charged. So you can pretty much guarantee that this guy will not be fully charged when it comes to the Team Battleground. And this is just a helpful little way to obviously take advantage of the team and see whether or not they're playing a lot. Because you can see here, 433 games. But again, if you click on the cards, you can see what their top cards are, and you can see that they're not very well trained, other than the ones that he's had for a while. But everything's kind of half trained, and this is a really good way to obviously find out how active your opposing team is. And in this case, I think we're going to have a very easy victory. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be. So just bear that in mind when it comes to your Team Battlegrounds. Maybe it's going to be a good thing for you to be able to determine whether or not you're going to have to make sure your team grinds. Now, The next thing that I've been doing, guys, is quite simply training my cards. If you didn't know, then as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've switched out all of my cards. I'm down into hardened tier at the moment, and it's very hit or miss whether or not I do a good job in the Money in the Bank. But Money in the Bank is one of the best ways you can train cards. Now, if you don't know why this is, the first two games of Money in the Bank are single stat games. The last three are double stat games. So it's always going to guarantee you a double stat game for the cards that you want to get trained up if you're obviously using those particular cards. Now, the downside to this is obviously you might not win. The likelihood of you being able to win these fights when not leveled up or you don't have pros and stuff is very, very difficult. Now, luckily, because of the level of the team, because people aren't really trained up too much, you can kind of do these 3-pointer games, which in a way kind of benefit you a fair bit and allow you to win. But hopefully I didn't just mess up, and I'm hoping that this is actually going to be a speed game and not a power game. But it's just one of them things. Like, sometimes you can get super lucky and you can make it to the end of the fight, but then other times you'll have a situation like this where you've just kind of got to bite the bullet and unfortunately not get all the way up to the top. So just try and make the most out of the contracts that you will get in this particular zone and train up your cards. So you can see here that unfortunately we're not going to be able to go ahead and win this fight up to the top. Maybe we might still have an opportunity, but the likelihood is very, very small. And the reason why I say the likelihood is very, very small is because of the Cesaro isn't over the max level of a hardened card. So 9 times out of 10 with this team, you'll have to fight a hardened pro at the top if you don't have very high level cards, because they kind of try to match up cards with the level of cards that you have. So you'll find that this final one will probably be a hardened or an elite pro. So as you can see there, it is a hardened pro, but because of the fact that the card isn't leveled up enough, the Cesaro, I'm not going to win here, which is a bit of a downside. But you've kind of got to take the good with the bad. So you've got to take into consideration that, yes, you might have lost that game, but you still got contracts as well as all of the training that you did get. So all of them cards that did get training has kind of just cost me getting like 40 or 50 contracts, and I only got like 14 contracts. So you've kind of got to take into consideration of, do you think it's worth getting tons and tons of training done over getting all of those contracts? I don't know. You tell me in the comments down below whether or not you think that it is worth your time doing it. I kind of think it is, because it means that no matter what game mode you play, you're getting some training done on cards that really, really need it. Obviously, if you don't need to train up as many cards like I do, then it isn't as important for you to obviously switch out and lose all of those contracts. But I'm not too worried about the contracts at the moment. I know I've got more than enough time to grind out the contracts that I need in order to get the Carmella and even possibly get that second Shinsuke Nakamura. So I'm not really too worried about it right now. But there will come a point that as those as the main cards are fully leveled up, the ones that I'm going to be turning into pros are fully trained up, then I will start putting my normal team back in, just so that I can guarantee that I'm going to win the 40 contracts until I can replace all of those pros. So I believe after the Cesaro and the Dean Ambrose is trained and pro'd, I believe that gives me 7 or 8 Ultimate Pros. So I'll possibly be looking at just playing with those 8 Ultimate Pros and then putting in a couple of random cards that need training. And hopefully with statistics, that will mean that I would still be able to win the matches, because the statistics of me being able to pull like say 3 to 4 of the ultimate pros would mean that I would possibly still be able to win every single one of them games. And then because we're using higher level cards as well, that will also open the fights up towards the 5 point contracts. So all of these points that I'm kind of losing out with doing training at the moment, I'll gain back in the future, because I'm going to be getting bonus points, rather than continuing to grind out with the WrestleMania team that I've been using and only being able to get 4 point contracts, which will then give me 40 points at the end. I'm going to be able to get the 50 contracts at the end of the fight. So tell me what sort of card you're using in order to get your... Oh, nice, we just got a manager card. It's a shame it's not one that we actually could use. But tell me what team you're kind of running in Money in the Bank as well. What tier cards are you using? Are you good enough to have a full team of WrestleMania cards? Do you have to drop them down a little bit? Do you have a mixture between WrestleManias, Ultimates, Elites, Commons? I don't know. You tell me in the comments down below. And how often are you able to get to the end? Now, the one thing that I have said about in videos in the past, you have to make sure your team is balanced. And by balanced, I mean all of the same card. So it's pointless you having, say, 6 WrestleMania pros and then 9 Ultimate pros, because your 6 WrestleMania pros will make your team unbalanced in terms of the Ultimate cards. So you probably won't make the top all of the time, because you might only, say, get 1 or 2 WrestleMania cards, and then you have unbalanced teams because you're going to have to fight, say, WrestleMania pros with Ultimate pros. So as I say, make sure you try and keep your team balanced. If it means using all of one type of card, then that's what you should do. So if it means that you can't use your best WrestleMania cards, but you've got 15 Ultimate pros, then go ahead and use the 15 Ultimate pros, because I 100% guarantee you will win more if you have all 15 cards as the exact same tier card than you would if you was like a couple of one tier, a couple of another tier, and a couple of another tier. So just bear that in mind, guys. But this is going to be the end of the video. I really wish everybody luck. King of the Ring is also going really, really well at the moment. We are at game 41 and we are in 2nd place. So we should be able to get into the finals. But again, like I said in yesterday's video, I'm probably only going to be going for those 2 Ultimate cards. So possibly be getting knocked out in the semi-finals, unless I can guarantee the win of the King of the Ring. So just put down in the comments what you're thinking, guys, how you're doing, what you're going to be going for. Are you going to be going for the Team RTG card? Are you going to be... it's not an RTG, it's a Ring Domination. I think we're in 2nd place anyway. Maybe we're not. Yeah, we're in 2nd place. So we're doing really, really well. But hopefully we can go ahead and get ourselves 2 Ultimate cards from this bad boy for the semi-final place. If not, then maybe we can get 1st place, get a WrestleMania and an Ultimate. Who knows? Let's just see what happens, guys. But that's going to be it from me. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, show that support, and I shall see you in the next one. Peace on the streets.